Testing, testing. Can you hear me? You can hear on Zoom? Oh, man. Awesome. Here now. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I think we'll go ahead and get started. Would like to welcome everybody to the Terrazzo Los Gatos State of the Business meeting for this month, September 2021. For those of you who may be joining us for the first time, welcome. We are very glad that you're here. And we hope that this next hour is informative, hopefully enjoyable, and at a minimum, valuable use of your time. We have residents, team members, advisory board members, as well as family and friends that are joining us through various forms of media today. We have residents that are watching on from their homes on TLG TV. We have residents and family members that are joining us through Zoom. And obviously we have all of you joining us here in the GRA. For those of you that are here with us in the GRA, thank you for remembering to bring and wear your masks throughout the duration of today's meeting. And also, if you have questions or comments throughout the presentation, just go ahead and raise your hand or wave or jump up and down or just start shouting. We're not going to be passing a microphone around today, but we'll make sure that those that are presenting repeat any questions back that are asked or repeat back any other comments that are made. And those of you that are joining us through Zoom, if you have any questions or comments throughout today's presentation, feel free to put those into the chat. Kendall Bonnie is graciously monitoring the chat on Zoom, and we will do our best to respond to and answer all of the comments or questions that we may receive through Zoom. All right. To get started, I'd like to extend our community's appreciation to our second to none advisory board, all of the volunteer advisory board members that serve our community. We have a few that are with us here in the GRA, as well as others that are joining us through Zoom. And I would like to express my sincere appreciation for each of our board members for all that you do to support our community. Last year and a half has been an interesting one, as we all know, in many, many respects. And despite or through all of the challenges, the advisory board has probably been harder at work than they've ever been over the past year and a half. And we appreciate what they do very, very much. If you can join me in extending a round of applause to our advisory board members. Okay. I wanted to also just take a quick moment. They're not able to join us today because, to be frank, they're really busy and they're working really, really hard. But each month we like to honor and express our appreciation for a specific department or a specific group of team members throughout the community. And I'd like to recognize the valuable team members that are licensed nurses, licensed and registered nurses that work in the health center specifically. We have an incredible team of hardworking, talented nurses that provide excellent care for all of the residents and patients upstairs in the health center. Many of the residents that are in the health center are permanent residents of the Terraces of Los Gatos, and many of them are joining our community for a short period of time for nursing or rehabilitation prior to returning home, which ultimately allows them to be able to return to their homes and live a successful lives wherever that might be. So I wanted to just actually read off the names of all of the licensed and registered nurses that we have that work up in our health center. We have Bernadette Asensio, who goes by Birdie. You may know her by Birdie. Dana Concepcion, who's our infection preventionist. Kazel Fementera, Elsa Horvatic, Michelle Palatau, Parul Patel, Melissa Regala, recent graduate of nursing school funded by the Foster Family Education Fund. Randy Sampayan, Carlo Telmo, Lady Terman, Michelle Wong, Dylan Capili, Bridget Lau, Jonathan Pavolonio, Maria Ramirez, Jeanette Sandoval, Imelda or Amy Allen, Elvie Combe, Jinky Barella, Joseph Silva, and Ali Reyes, our Director of Nursing. The work that nurses do is always important and always challenging, but their work this past year and a half has been more challenging and more important than it has ever been before. And we appreciate each one of our nurses in the health center very much. So again, please join me in giving them a round of applause. All right. I would like to invite Linda Price, there she is, our Director of Sales, to come on up and provide us a report from the sales department. I just turned it off. Sorry.
I can talk loud.
Here we go.
Okay, are we good? Can you hear me? Okay, I'm pretty loud, as most of you know anyway. Okay, let's get right to it. As far as occupancy goes, we have 175 apartments, as you all know, in independent living. Out of those right now, 166 are occupied. There are 9 that are available and under renovation. I know that's a lot of renovations going on right now, so big shout out to our building and grounds teams and our contracting partners for all the work they're doing. Thank you all for your patience, because I know there's noise sometimes next to you and your residences. So anyway, 9 apartments are under renovation, but the good news is all of them are reserved. Money has been taken and we've got new residents that are anxious to move in and be here. In assisted living, there's 45 apartments. We currently have 43 occupied. So there's 2 that's not spoken for that we're talking with families about. And in the Grove, there's 16 suites and there are 2 available at the moment. Again, we're in conversations with families about those. You've probably noticed that there were new people on campus during August, so help me welcome those new move-ins. Most recently, we had Mr. Gary Miller. I do not think he's here. He moved in last Friday into M154, but I know the welcoming committee, thank you very much, has already made contact with him. He's had dinner with some of the residents and is settling in nicely. Pat and Steve Campen have signed their contract on E121. Officially residents, but they're actually in Hawaii as we speak. So their moving truck will be here next week on Wednesday. So you'll get to meet them. Really nice couple. We also physically had Doris Davis, who moved in August. She had signed earlier, but she's physically here now. I know she had a lot of friends in the community already, so you've probably met her. And we also had Charles and Judy Munnerlin, who signed contract earlier. They have not physically fully, I don't think, moved into L135. I know the welcoming committee and residents have been asking, where are they? If they're watching online, we can't wait till you're here full time, but I know they as well have been coming, I think, a lot on Saturday evenings for dinner and have raved about the welcome that you all are giving them and the food. So thank you all for that. Like I said, because we have 9 apartments reserved, we are going to have a busy September and the end of third quarter. I can't say specifically how many of those are going to get moved in. We know it's going to be at least 4, possibly 5. We have M150 that will probably have a move in. It will be an outside resident who's going to be transitioning from skilled nursing after just a rehab stint. That looks like that will happen mid-month. Elaine Cornerschild will be moving into E324 around the end of the month, sometime between the 27th and the 30th. Marlon Smith will be moving into N357 around the end of the month, 27th through the 30th. Lewis Carson, who is a Southern California resident, will be moving into Q263 also that last week of the month. So the last week of September, bear with us as we have moving trucks on campus and new faces and getting people settled in. There could be 1 or 2 others. It really just depends on the apartment renovations and contract signings and just a lot of coordination. Otherwise, we will start off fourth quarter in October with a bang, and we'll get the remainders of those move-ins in. So it's just busy all around, and we thank you all for your support and your patience. And lastly, as you all know, our sales assistant, Rick Sheik, his last day was on July 30th. So I have to give a shout out to Jana because I appreciate all that she is doing. She and I are really busy this time of year. And we've also been looking for a new sales assistant. Just an update, an offer has been extended and accepted, providing all the pre-screening things go well. So keep your fingers crossed for us. We would love to have somebody onboarded, mid to late September. So, and I think that's it from me, unless there's any questions. Yes, Mr. Stewart.
How many apartments in the independent living do you have to refurbish a year?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, on average, I would say we probably.
Can you repeat the question?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you. The question was, on average, how many apartments are refurbished a year? And while I can stumble about that, Adrian, you can think about it. You may have a better answer if you know specifically. We generally have an average of anywhere between 15, 19 apartments that come available due to, people moving to higher levels of care. We renovate them all. It just depends on if they're full remodels or partials. So does that answer your question? It's hard to say.
You turn over about 15 a year.
And that's on the low end. This year, even when we're still kind of in our COVID deal, we still met our budgeted goal last year between June and December with the renovations being completed and move-ins happening. And this year, we're actually ahead of schedule as well. We will probably end the year with 20 move-ins, maybe more, which is well above what I think even home office had budgeted for us. Again, due to just attrition and moves through the continuum of care, which is what we're here for. And Luckily, we're all in a good community. It's highly desirable and people want to be here, and our wait list is still strong. So I don't know if Vincent or Adrian want to address that more so. I think Vincent, you just walked in. The question was how many apartments are remodeling a year? It's basically all of them, anywhere between 15 and 18 or so.
15 to 20 apartments.
Okay, so I was pretty close. Just depends on if they're full or full remodels or partials, but they look great. If you guys see the doors open, I'm sure you're kind of peeking in, but feel free to peek in. They look beautiful. The upgrades are really, really nice, and our new incoming people are really happy with them. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda, for that report. And as always, thank you for the excellent work that you and your team do. I know you're anxious to get sales assistant on board, and we're hoping that works out within the next few weeks. All right, next we'd like to invite Christy Mckinney, our Human Resources Director, to come up and give us a report on our team members.
Sorry about that. Good afternoon, everyone. So I wanted to give you the update on the people that we've hired since we met last. We've had 5 new hires start. We have one wellness nurse, 2 CNAs, 1 IT tech, and 1 housekeeper. And as Linda indicated, we do have 1 sales assistant that's part of our new hires, and we also have 5 other candidates that have accepted positions and are in the process now of joining us and our team. This month, we have 21 team member anniversaries that we'll be celebrating for September. 10 of those have worked over 10 years, and 3 of those, including myself, has worked over 20 years. So lots of long-term team members. And our turnover is creeping up just a little bit. The national average is 30%, and we are at 18%. So we are creeping up just a little bit. In case you are not aware, we have some sad news that happened to one of our HR professionals at our community support center. Troy Keach, our VP of HR, passed away in a motorcycle accident. I know some of you have seen him at the community. I know Mr. Barish had talked with him quite often about veterans issues and bringing in new team members that might be veterans. So we're very sad about that loss. And I think that's all I have for my report. Sorry to end it on such a somber note. I was just looking, Labor Day's on Monday, and I was kind of looking it up just to get a little bit more information. And as we know, it's a federal holiday, and it is to honor and recognize the American labor movement and the works and contributions of laborers to the development and achievements of the United States. So I didn't realize it's really been in effect over 100 years. So when you see team members working hard, just say thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Christy. Thank you for all that you do. And I failed to mention it when we first got here, but this is the first time we're back in the GRA for quite some time for State of the Business. And it's good to be here. It's good to see all of you. Thanks for joining. I wanted to actually just take a moment to speak a little bit about the important role of human resources. Christy, she leads obviously our human resources efforts throughout the community. And that includes our recruitment as well as our retention efforts. Additionally, everyone in our community plays an important role in that process, the process of recruiting and retaining the best talent that we can find. That includes team members, all the team members, including leadership team members. It includes residents. It also includes family members. Your family members play an important role in creating a workplace where people want to be and feel appreciated and feel acknowledged. I was reviewing a report this morning that was very eye-opening for me. And I wanted to share a little bit of information, and Jerry may speak to this a little bit as well. But I want to share a little information from this report. What this report is it shows the past 12 months and the turnover percentage of all of the dining services departments within the human good organization. And so it's a turnover percentage. So it's the percentage of team members that work in dining services that over the last year have resigned and hopefully been replaced, but that have left for one reason or another, voluntarily or involuntarily. So the lower the better, right? Okay, so here I won't read off all of them, and I'm not going to say which communities they are, but I will say which one it is the Terraces of Los Gatos. But I'm just going to read off some of these turnover percentages. 55.9%, 73.7%, 22.7%, 68.6%, 50%. I'm not just picking out the highest ones too, I'm just reading down the list. 87.3%, 46.3%, 16.3%, 42.4%, 78%, 90.7%, 65.2%, 28.6%, 41.3%, 71%, and the Terraces of Los Gatos at 17.3%. So some of those numbers are totally shocking. I heard some gasps here in the GRA as we read through some of those numbers. But I have to say, although they're somewhat shocking, they're not totally out of the norm. They're not totally out of the norm for this industry, specifically in the service industry and specifically dining services. Those turnover numbers aren't totally crazy. Especially in this day and age and the environment in which we're working now. And I wanted to share that for two reasons. One, because it always is important to recognize successes, and it always feels good to pat ourselves on the back a little bit. But also to point out some of the unprecedented challenges that many of all of our departments are working through right now. Our dining services team has done a fantastic job, as have all of our departments. As Christy mentioned, our turnover rate is increasing a little bit, but it's at 18%. We always want it to be as low as it can be, but in the environment that we're working and operating in today, that is something that truly we should be proud of. But it's also, those numbers should serve as a little bit of a warning caution for us. We know that things will likely get more challenging and more difficult before they get easier and better. I was speaking with, had a meeting this morning with a few executive directors from other communities within the organization. And there was one community that shall remain nameless, that the executive director explained that they spend most of their day working in the billing office because they don't have anyone working in their finance department at the community at the moment. And then after they get done processing all of the accounts receivables and accounts payables, Then they head to the main dining room and serve tables in the main dining room for the last few hours of their shift. And I know you don't want me serving your food in the dining room and spilling your drinks in your lap and getting your orders wrong. I was a server for many years, and I was a terrible one. So we don't want to have to resort to that. And I just want to thank you, as I mentioned earlier, for the important role that each one of you play as residents in our efforts to retain and recruit valuable team members. So unless you want me spilling drinks in your lap, make sure you thank your servers in the dining room. Make sure you continue to let them know how much you appreciate them. When the team's running short, as we know, sometimes they do, we appreciate your patience with them and your continued expressions of appreciation. And that goes obviously for all of our team members. Whenever we speak with our team members and ask them what their primary reason for working at the Terraces is, or their primary reason for staying here, or what they love most about their job, it is always the residents. And they don't say it's because they like Jerry as a boss, although I'm sure they do. But it's really the residents and the relationships that you formulate with them. They do like Jerry also, but you play an important role, and we appreciate it, and want you to know how important the role is that each of you play. Okay. Actually, another community. I'll mention it. Another community actually had to shut down their dining services program for a couple of days a week because they simply just don't have the people to operate. So we're not there, and hopefully we don't ever get there due to the great leadership of our dining services team. And on that note, Jerry, you're up. Jerry Austin, our dining services director, to provide a report from his department.
Thank you, Bradley. Maybe you can't serve, but I think we have bus positions available.
True story. The only job I've ever been fired from was a busboy. I was 20 years old. I was a terrible busboy, worse than server.
I hear the human resources here is pretty forgiving, so. Oh, thank you. I wanted to just touch on the turnover comment that Bradley was making. It's kind of incredible, because if you look at the industry rate in the country for national, the fast food service is actually 150%. Which is just insane. So we feel pretty lucky that our folks are staying with us like they are. And obviously, you know, it shows us how important it is to take care of them and make them feel comfortable and like they want to be here. So we appreciate everybody's help with that as well. With that, I wanted to remind everybody about our online ordering, which is it's live already, but it's going to be kind of taking the main role this Monday. We are going to be transitioning back to how we used to do our orders, which means that if you are going to do a takeout order, we'd ask that you come to the dining room to place your order, or you can have an order called in for the sick tray to the concierge desk if the wellness nurses have approved it. But we've taken a step further, and we've created this wonderful new online dining program, which allows you to order your meals for either pickup or delivery. The great thing about that is that it gives you a lot more control over when your meal is ready. So if you want to pick up your meal at maybe you have appointments all day long and you want to pick up your meal at 5:30 or 6:15 instead of letting it sit out in the sun for 45 minutes, you have that option. So you just choose the time that you want to pick it up and we'll have it ready for you. We have a rack set up in the dining room now. So just come to the dining room and it'll be there. It'll have your name on it. No waiting in line. You walk in, grab it and take it back and enjoy your meal. If you have questions or have any concerns with that, we absolutely would love to help you understand it better. Yeah, Mrs. Hampson?
Yeah, what about people who are not sick but who are having home delivery?
So the question was, what about people who are not sick but would like home delivery? The online delivery option is there, and you can choose that. As always, there's a 5-point charge for that. If you're unable to use the online delivery, which I imagine is what you're asking, we can have you call into the concierge. They can put that order for us and get it to us. Or again, you can stop by the dining room at any time and we'd be glad to take that order as well. Basically what we're doing is we're getting back to the way it was pre-pandemic. It's hard to believe that it's been more than a year and a half, but we're trying to kind of streamline the process a little bit, make it more accurate and more workable as far as operationally speaking.
So you could get online delivery without being sick, or you could get delivery to the home without being sick.
So the question is, you can get delivery at home without being sick, and the answer is yes. You just choose the delivery option. You have two options when it comes up, carry out or delivery. Choose the delivery option, select the time. The delivery times are a little bit narrower because we want to get the deliveries done in the first part of the service, so we have that person back in the dining room. But we have about a half-hour window for that, yeah. So with that, just we'd ask you to keep in mind that the last day that we'll be putting menus out at the concierge desk is going to be Saturday. Those will be for Sunday's meals. After that, follow the new procedures. And again, if there's anything I can do or any of my team can do to help as we move into that process, we're more than willing and hoping we can help you. With that, as Christy stated, Monday is Labor Day. And as much as we're saying online process is going to start Monday, it's actually not. Officially, we're going to be Tuesday because we are going to be having our regular holiday meal on Monday. We'll have menus going out to everybody. Excuse me. We'll have menus going out to everybody this weekend with the meal and the choices. And all you have to do is just come to the Fountain Court and have a great meal and enjoy the company. If you do need a sick tray, just again, please just reach out to the concierge desk and they will take your order and get us the ticket like we used to do. With Labor Day, again, we'll be serving a large lunch in the Fountain Court. There's no reservations needed, so please don't look to place a reservation. The dining room will be open for seating. We're going to serve in the Fountain Court. If weather is inclement, we have smoke or anything else, we can move it into the Galleria. But as at this point, we're hoping to be able to serve on the Fountain Court like we did for Memorial Day. I wanted to update you a little bit on the supply chain issues. I know we keep talking about it and you keep hearing about it from me and from Bradley and seemingly everybody else. There's just one item that is come up here recently. I know it impacts a lot of folks. So we have the little Nescafe coffee machines that we have in the game room. We have them upstairs in the lodge and in the health center. Right now, we are unable to get cocoa powder for those, which means that we cannot make the mocha drinks or the hot chocolate, which I think a lot of folks really enjoy. It's unfortunate, it's frustrating for everybody, including us, but right now it's just not available. We're continuing to look to find another source. The challenge is, of course, is that's a very specific machine and has a specific item that is needed to use for that. So hopefully we'll have a better update here soon, but I wanted to make you aware of that. Lastly, I wanted to give you an update on the sous chef. I think we talked about sous chef position, how we're looking to add another sous chef on. We've had a few interviews. And we have two very good candidates that we've spoken to. And I believe we'll probably be making an offer either today or tomorrow. Hopefully I can report back to you here in the very near future that we have an additional management staff in the dining room that's going to be assisting in the kitchen. And we're pretty excited about that. That's all I have for you today. Any more questions? Yes, sir.
If you have to go to the dining room, will there be a focal point that you tell what you want?
So the question is, when you go to the dining room, will there be a focal point to where you tell them what you want? So we have actually a couple of options that we can do on that. Ideally, if there's not a big line at the front, we can enter the order for you right there. We have the computer kiosk right there, computer terminal right there, and we can just enter the order and it goes right to the kitchen. If there's a big line, we can also direct one of the servers if we have somebody free, and they can also take the order for you on the tablet. So there's two ways that we can do that. Obviously, we want to try to keep that area flowing as much as possible, and we don't want anybody to have to wait very long. And just to that point too, I think anybody that's come to the dining room and ordered anything, you've probably seen that the orders get done pretty quickly. So there's not really that long of a wait for it, but it is an option. So, all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jerry, for that report and for all that you do in the dining services team. The supply chain issues that Jerry mentioned, they're legit. There are legitimate supply chain challenges that not only we are facing, but nearly every industry is facing. And it's, I mean, if you think about it, you know, for the cocoa powder, for example, that Jerry mentioned, right? Someone's got to make it. So they need to have all the factory workers that are working wherever that it's made. They need to have all of the materials and supplies to be able to package them. They need to make sure that there's transportation available, several steps, drivers, delivery drivers, eventually for it to end up here. And right now, as COVID is very much still impacting the entire world, every step along the way, there's challenges, whether it be illnesses, vehicles that need repair and they're waiting on materials and supplies to repair vehicles, workers who have family members whose daycares are shut down and so they can't come to work and so they need to stay home with their children. It's really remarkable to think about all of the logistics that go into making sure that we have cocoa powder, and it's definitely impacted. I was at Starbucks a couple of mornings ago, and they were actually, and Jerry had mentioned to me that later that day about our issue with the cocoa powder, and it made me remember as I was at Starbucks, there were several people that had ordered mochas, and they said they didn't have any, and they were out of it. And I'm assuming it's a similar issue. And also at Starbucks, that they didn't have any sugar packets. At Starbucks, so you think of the purchasing power that Starbucks has, and even Starbucks ran out of sugar. So they're legitimate challenges, and we appreciate everyone's patience as we try to navigate through this complicated world we're currently living in. Would like to invite Vincent Foresta, Director of Building and Grounds, to come up and provide us a report.
Good afternoon, everyone. Updates from Buildings and Grounds. Some of you may have noticed we've begun our lighting retrofit project here in the main building. Buildings A, B, C, and S. Over the next 6 to 8 weeks, over 900 lights will be retrofitted to LED. Just give some numbers behind this reasoning, why we're doing this. In just over 1 year, we anticipate to save over $13,000 in electricity costs. and over $17,000 in maintenance costs. Over a 10-year period of time, we'll have saved a combined total of over $300,000 just by changing our lights out to LED. And the best part, PG&E rebate program was at no cost to us. So this is a really exciting project. It's going to be a big project to take underway, but we're very excited about it. We've completed some of the lights in here already on the sides, in the library, notions and needs, and we'll be working in the lodge later this week. A few other things going on throughout the community. Lodge, Grove, now memory support. We have decided to add a new feature to your rooms in public areas. In the next few weeks, aquariums will be added with koi fish to give a more tranquil setting in these areas. Really hope that you enjoy these as they'd be quite beautiful. So we're adding aquariums in the lodge dining room and in the Grove memory support. It'd be very nice, yes. Sidewalk grinding. On September 20th, lifting sidewalks will be grinded down to eliminate potential tripping hazards. There will be some loud equipment on this day to perform the work, so please be cautious in walking around the community. Fountain Courtyard AV system. This is just about completed. We've had some delays in acquiring materials, but we were scheduled to complete this project by next week. This new AV system in the courtyard will allow us to play soft music for events, and we'll have the ability to connect wireless microphones so we can better host large gatherings such as Multicultural Day without having to set up equipment. Folding partitions. We have just approved to replace the folding wall partitions in the main dining room. These will likely take some time to complete. We anticipate them to be completed in the first quarter of 2022. These new partitions will match the color scheme of the dining room and should be much easier to operate when we have private events in our private dining room. The Terrazzo floors in the main building here as you enter are scheduled to be polished on Tuesday, August 7th. This work will likely take a few days to complete and will happen during the evening hours. That's not to disturb daily activities. Polishing of these floors is something we've been wanting to do for a long time now and should bring a nice, new, fresh look, clean look to the community when you enter. September 7th, yes. Thank you, Linda. That's all I have for buildings and grounds. Are there any questions?
Really minor, but I want to ask it anyway. Why is the bing bing at the elevator so loud?
So the question was, why is the bing bing at the elevator so loud?
She just wanted to hear you say bing bing.
Yeah. Well, I think after 30 years, the original speakers that were in there are worn down, and now that we have brand new speakers, when you call the elevator, yeah. These elevators are all brought up to the most current ADA requirements, so there may be some ADA requirement, meaning that the bell needs to ring at such a certain decibel or volume. So that's the reason. Yes, Linda.
There are protective tabs in the on the wall. I'm assuming that's for moving. I'm pretty sure I've seen protective tabs. I've never seen them used. And I'm wondering what the plan is to remove the tabs around this direction with movement. We've already had damage.
Right. So we had a comment about the elevators and having wall protection put inside of them. Well, with our new elevators and the amount of money that we spent on them, we want to make sure they're protected and looking nice for as long as they can. With the amount of construction going on from the apartment renovations, that's primarily why they're up now in that elevator, is we have renovations going on in that building. They will be taken down when there's no work being done in these apartments. We have, each elevator has their own protections kit. So yes, we will do our best job to protect these elevators so they look good for many, many years to come. Yes. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Vincent. I appreciate that report and appreciate all that you and your team do to keep the community functioning and safe. The date of the, just to clarify the date of the September 7th. It was, what, I don't even remember anymore. What's happening on September 7th? Floor polishing, September 7th, next Tuesday. And grinding of the concrete in the pathways is September 20th. All right, thank you, Vincent, appreciate it. Next, we will invite up Sandy. Yeah, we can give Sandy a round of applause.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Have a few things. As some of you know, Val will be leaving us, our concierge, our full-time concierge. Her last day is tomorrow, the 3rd, and we will have a farewell social for her in the fountain, at the Fountain Court at 1:30 p.m. We will be bringing in cookies and cream ice cream, which is good for her because she's having some difficulty chewing right now. So she's appreciative of that. I hope all of you can come and bid farewell to her. Val has been with us for about 4 years, I think. And she's retiring because her husband has retired, but I told her she's always welcome to come back and work, even if it's just on call. We hire her back. She's very good at what she does. Other news that we have is that I have put in offer letters to 2 part-time or casual concierges, and one has accepted. The other hopefully will accept tomorrow, and they will go through the pre-employment requirements, which will take about 1.5 to 2 weeks, I think. And we'll get them trained after that on a training schedule. They both are pretty close. They live close to Los Gatos. One lives in Campbell and the other one in San Jose. So that's a good thing. A few more part-time concierges, a casual driver, and also a spiritual care director. So still looking for those are searching for people for those positions. The other things that we have is, a lot of this is on the weekly updates today. We have a few activities going on. Dana is working pretty hard to get everything that you all want in regards to activities, and she will continue to do that. There is an activity tomorrow or a trip going to Oakland Zoo. I think departure time is 9 a.m. So if you signed up for that, please be at the Fountain Court at that time. Other things that we have going on, let's see. Kara Green, my assistant, will be covering some of the shifts at the front desk because we don't have a full-time person yet. You may see me up there from time to time. But I've been doing this job for a long time, and I was a concierge or communications clerk for many years, so it's nothing new to me. So don't be surprised when you see me there. I will continue to do my job as well as the residential services director. I think that's all that I have that I can think of at this time. Do you have any questions? None? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sandy, as well for that report and for all that you do. And Val, I don't know if she can hear us, but thank you very much, Val, for all that you've done here at the Terraces of Los Gatos. We will sincerely miss you, but we appreciate all that you've done to help make this community the place that it is. Okay, I've got a few other items to mention. One, we are continuing our search for health services administrator. We have a few, we've had quite a few applicants. some of which have been qualified and some of which have not been qualified. We have two, possibly three strong candidates that are going through the interview process. And we hope to have a final decision made in the next few weeks. The administrator, health service administrator, is truly a critical position, and so we make sure we vet them very, very rigorously. A couple of other items. We'll put some more information out, likely early next week, but we are scheduled to reopen the wellness clinic next Wednesday, September 8th. Exact hours I don't have written down, but we'll get that information out in the next few days. And we're excited to be able to open up the wellness clinic again, as after having it closed for the past 18 months or so. We're hoping to, and I think it's confirmed, but don't hold me to it. But the tentative plan, at least previously, was for a period of time every morning, as well as in the afternoon as well, to be able to accommodate resident schedules a little bit better. So again, stay tuned for more details in the coming days. Also, we'll be releasing more details in writing in the coming days for our annual flu clinic for residents. We are scheduled for flu clinics to take place here at the community on September 20th and 28th for residential living residents. So again, September 20th and September 28th, and September 21st for assisted living residents. And for memory support residents, it will also take place on September 28th. And we are still not finalized yet. We have not finalized yet plans for Kaiser flu clinics. So we're working on getting that arranged for the residents that have Kaiser coverage. As you have likely heard or read, at the end of this month, all team members will be required to have their vaccination shots complete or have an approved medical or religious exemption for the vaccination. Those that have, if any, an approved exemption will be required to be tested at least 2 times per week, and also wear an N95 respirator and a face shield or other similar protection at all times. We currently have 224 team members. Of those, just over 93% of team members are fully vaccinated as of this morning. 14 team members are not yet vaccinated. Of those 14 team members, 1 has submitted a request for exemption and it's currently being reviewed. And 1 has submitted their resignation. We are hopeful that the remaining 12 team members will be vaccinated between now and the end of the month. That being said, we are certainly aware that we may need to part ways with some team members in the coming weeks. Obviously, we hope that not have to be the case. So we'll see what happens between now and the end of the month. We're in a very good position with our team member vaccination rates. Some of the other communities throughout the organization are really struggling, and these next few weeks are going to be very telling to see what happens. I heard a rough estimate that throughout the organization, and I don't know if this is totally true because it seems really high, but throughout the organization, I was told a rough estimate of 1,500 team members that are not yet fully vaccinated. And so some of the communities that have struggled to get their team members vaccinated might really be struggling in the next few weeks. So we wish them well, and we're grateful for our team members and the relatively high vaccination rate that we currently have. Currently, also on the subject of vaccination, currently all visitors to the health center are required to be either fully vaccinated or provide proof of a negative COVID test that was administered within the 72 hours previous to their visit start time. As we anticipated, and we are grateful for, that requirement has also now been extended to the rest of the community. And so starting next Monday, September 6th, all visitors to the community will be required to provide proof of full vaccination. And what the definition of full vaccination is 2 weeks after the final shot. So if it was a 2-shot vaccine, 2 weeks after the second dose, or if it was the single Johnson & Johnson vaccine, 2 weeks after the single shot. So all visitors will need to be come to the screening station, and that will be verified. If they have not been vaccinated or not have proof of the vaccination, they can also show proof of a negative test. Again, that was administered within 72 hours of the visit start time. That information with some more details are included in a community update letter that I believe was included with the weekly updates today and also published to TLG Connect. Yes. Question was, does that requirement include children that are not of an age to be vaccinated? I'm assuming. The direction, there are a lot of unknowns. I've got to be totally honest, and a lot of things that both the state as well as local health departments are trying to work through. And that I don't know a definitive answer at this point. I can tell you that we have been given clear direction that visitors, the health center, skilled nursing facilities, children under the age of 12 are not permitted to visit the health center, but we don't have clear direction on that yet. We'll try to get some more clear direction and get that communicated out.
If residents are not vaccinated, will they be allowed to be in public, including the GRA?
So the question was, if residents are not vaccinated, are they permitted to be in public areas such as the GRA and the main dining room? Currently, there are no specific, there are no requirements for resident vaccinations. In fact, we've been given direction that there can't be essentially, and so if there are residents that are not vaccinated, we are not able to exclude them from areas of the community. So I don't know if that answers the question or not. You're welcome. Yes, Linda. If residents go to the health center to visit the health center or to do the bookmobile, would they be required to show proof of vaccination? Yes. But I'm glad that you mentioned that because I don't know if we thought through that. But yes, they would be. Phil.
How many residents have not been vaccinated?
How many residents have not been vaccinated? I don't know the number of residents, but the percentage of resident vaccination rate is between 98 and 99%. So there's 1.5% of residents that are not vaccinated, which would be 3 people, 3 or 4 people. Okay, another quick item. Oh, yes. So the question is, do we know if those residents that are not vaccinated have medical exemption, or what the reason is for not being vaccinated? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know if we have that information, nor if we are legally allowed to be privy to that information at this point. Question is if we have any plans to have the COVID booster vaccinations here at the terraces. We hope so, but we don't have any definitive plans at this point. There is a community update letter that will, I don't know if it has gone out or will go out at some point today, that has information from the CDC about the COVID booster shot. At this point, there's no plans to have an on-site clinic because of the limited eligibility of those that, or the limited number of people that authorization for that third shot extends to the general public. We anticipate we'll be able to have a clinic here on site. But again, there's a community update letter that it either has gone out or will go out later today with some more details on that topic. Finally, school is back in session across the street at Blossom Hill Elementary. They're back in session, and the school district has more rigid and rigorous and complicated pickup and drop-off procedures due to COVID. And so some of you may have experienced it already, but traffic tends to back up a little bit more than usual on Cherry Blossom, especially during the early morning hours and then in the afternoon around the time school gets out. The school day starts, I think, around 8 or 8:30 in the morning, ends on most days at like 2:30. Wednesdays, just so you're aware, is an early release day for the school. So you might find the traffic a little earlier in the day around noon. So just everyone be aware of that, and appreciate everyone's patience and understanding. I wish there were something we could do about it to make it easier, but sorry. That is everything on the list. And oh, we're already 2 minutes over 4:30. But I want to thank everyone for being here. And if you're ready to go, please take off. But if anyone has any questions that we haven't addressed, Kendall.
We got a question from the chat asking if you could repeat the flu vaccine dates.
Oh, flu vaccine dates for residential living residents is scheduled for September 20th and September 28th. I think on the 20th, it's 8 a.m. to noon. And on the 28th, it's 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. And then from 10 a.m. to 12 is when, on the 28th is when they'll be in memory support. And on September 21st for assisted living. And I think it's 8 to noon on that day as well. Anything else in the chat? Mr. Clemmer?
What controls are in place as far as people getting their private caregivers? Are they under our control? I see them coming and going, but are they coming to the front door to check?
So the question is, what controls are in place for the private duty caregivers that are providing services here at the community? What should happen is that they should come and be screened like all team members do. We have partnerships with several caregiving organizations that are very well of all of our protocol, that they should be following the same testing, COVID testing schedule as our team members. They've also all been made aware of the vaccination requirements. We do our absolute best to try to make sure that everyone complies with those, but we really rely heavily as well on the residents, especially those that may hire private duty caregivers that we may not be aware of, to make sure that they're aware of what those protocols are. Any other questions or comments? Sandy?
Hello again. I forgot to mention that Margarita contacted me this morning, our hairstylist, and she injured her foot. So she is not able to come back until sometime next week. No specific date was given to me, but I'll be checking in with her from time to time.
Thank you, Sandy, and we wish Margarita all the best and a speedy recovery. All right, unless there's anything else, thank you all for being here. Sorry to keep you a few minutes late.